Life is unpredictable. It can throw obstacles in your path when you least expect them, and sometimes it feels like everything is working against you. You might be moving forward, making progress, chasing your dreams, and then suddenly something happens, a loss, an injury, a failure that knocks you down. The reality is no one is immune to hardship. No matter how prepared you think you are, life will test you. It will challenge your patience, your faith, and your willpower. But this is the truth that many people struggle to accept. The knocks are inevitable. What matters most isn't whether you get knocked down, but how you respond when it happens. You have to understand that falling is part of the process. If you never experience setbacks, you're probably not pushing yourself hard enough. When life knocks you down, it's not a sign that you should give up. It's a signal to dig deeper, to find that strength inside you that you didn't know existed. It's a moment where your character is forged. The question isn't whether you will face challenges, it's what you're going to do when you face them. Will you stay down, or will you get back up and keep moving forward? This mindset, knowing that life will knock you down but refusing to be stopped by it, is crucial. It separates those who achieve their goals from those who fall short. Everyone faces adversity, but not everyone pushes through it. Some get overwhelmed by the difficulty and decide to quit. They let the moment of pain define their entire journey. But the ones who win, the ones who make a lasting impact, are the ones who embrace the struggle and say, this isn't the end. This is just a part of the journey. It's important to recognize that the knocks in life come in many forms. It might be a physical injury like what I experienced. It might be a loss of a loved one, a failure in business, a broken relationship, or a sudden change in circumstances. Each knock feels personal and painful in its own way. Sometimes the pain is so intense that it feels like the world is caving in. But no matter the shape it takes, every setback carries the same opportunity to rise up stronger. The process of getting back up after a fall is not easy. It takes courage. It takes faith. It requires you to look beyond the present moment of pain and believe that there is a better future ahead. When you are knocked down, the first thing you might feel is hopelessness or despair. It's natural, but the key is not to dwell there. Instead, use that moment as a turning point. Refuse to let that fall be your final destination. Many people stop themselves before they even try because they fear the pain of failure. They avoid risk, hoping to sidestep the knocks altogether. But life doesn't work that way. Growth and progress come through struggle. If you're not getting knocked down, maybe you're standing in a place too safe to grow. You have to push beyond your comfort zone, knowing that falls will come, but also knowing that you are built to get back up. When you decide not to be stopped by life's knocks, you unlock a powerful mindset. You start seeing obstacles not as barriers, but as challenges to overcome. You begin to view failures as lessons, not dead ends. You develop resilience, the ability to bounce back from hardship with greater strength and wisdom. This resilience is not something you're born with. It's something you build every time you choose to stand up after being knocked down. There's also something deeply empowering about accepting that life will knock you down but refusing to let it stop you. It takes the pressure off trying to control everything perfectly. Instead, you focus on what you can control, your attitude, your effort, your refusal to quit. It teaches you patience, humility, and perseverance. You learn to trust the process even when it's hard to see the way forward. And here's the thing, the more you face adversity and keep pushing through it, the stronger you become. You develop a confidence that comes not from never falling, but from always getting back up. This strength is visible to others. It inspires people around you because they see what's possible when you refuse to be defeated. Your story becomes a beacon of hope for someone else who's struggling. It's also worth mentioning that life's knocks can sometimes come repeatedly, testing you over and over. It might feel unfair or relentless, but the decision to not be stopped anymore means showing up again and again, no matter how many times you fall. It's about cultivating a spirit that is unbreakable. It's about refusing to let temporary pain steal your permanent dreams. You have to commit to this mindset every day. It's not a one-time decision. It's a daily battle to remind yourself that getting knocked down is part of the journey and stopping is not an option. You must hold on to hope when the world tries to convince you to give up. You must keep faith alive when circumstances seem impossible. And you must keep moving forward one step at a time, even when it hurts. Because when you do this, when you accept the knocks but refuse to stop, you set yourself apart. You position yourself to win in ways others never thought possible. You show the world what it means to be truly resilient. You prove to yourself that your dreams are bigger than your setbacks. And you become unstoppable. So when life throws a challenge your way, you stand at a crossroads. The moment you face hardship, you have a choice. How you respond will shape your entire future. It's easy to think that circumstances control us, that pain or failure dictate the path we must follow. But that's not the truth. What truly defines you is the choice you make in that moment. You can let the setback break you or you can let it build you. The power to decide is always yours. Every challenge carries a lesson, even if it's not clear at first. When something goes wrong, your natural instinct might be to retreat, to give up, or to blame the situation or others. But those responses only keep you stuck. The moment you realize you have a choice, you shift from being a victim of circumstance to becoming the architect of your destiny. This choice, how to respond, creates the foundation for your comeback. Think about this, the greatest achievements in history were born from moments of failure. People who made a difference didn't avoid problems or get overwhelmed by them. Instead, they made the conscious decision to keep going. They used failure as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. They knew that setbacks are temporary, but quitting is permanent. Choosing to respond with strength requires courage. It means looking your pain in the eye and refusing to let it define you. It means getting up every day and making a commitment to yourself, to your dreams, your goals, your purpose. It's a daily battle because doubts will creep in, fears will whisper, and sometimes it will feel easier to give in. But the choice to fight is what separates those who succeed from those who settle for less. The response you choose sends a message to yourself and to the world. When you respond with determination and faith, you demonstrate resilience. You show that no matter what happens, you will not be defeated. This mindset shifts your entire perspective. Instead of seeing obstacles as dead ends, you see them as detours, opportunities to grow and learn. This doesn't mean the path gets easier. The struggle remains, but your response transforms the struggle into fuel. It pushes you forward even when the odds feel stacked against you. Every setback becomes a chance to build your character, strengthen your resolve, and clarify your purpose. You learn what you're made of. The choice you make is also an act of ownership. It's you saying, I am responsible for my life. When you accept this responsibility, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for things to change around you and start making changes within you. This shift in mindset creates momentum, allowing you to take control, even when external circumstances feel beyond control. This choice also influences your relationships and how others see you. People are drawn to those who don't give up, who show up even when it's hard. Your response can inspire and uplift others, creating a ripple effect of hope and courage. When you model resilience, you encourage those around you to find their own strength. Sometimes the choice isn't easy. Sometimes the pain is so deep that it feels impossible to see a way forward. But even in those moments, the choice exists. You might need time to heal, to process, to cry. That's okay. Healing is part of the journey. But when you're ready, you can choose to stand up again, to keep moving, to refuse to be defined by what happened. There's power in that choice because it turns you from a passive observer into an active participant in your life. You stop being controlled by fear, regret, or doubt. Instead, you become a warrior, fighting not against the world, but for your dreams and your future. Every decision to keep going, to learn from failure, to embrace growth is a declaration that your story is far from over. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, the ability to choose your response is a gift. It's a chance to rewrite your story, to turn setbacks into comebacks. And that choice, though it may seem small in the moment, has the power to change everything. Every time you face a challenge, remember you don't have to let the hardship dictate your path. You have the strength to respond differently. You have the power to decide. And when you make that choice, you unlock a future filled with possibility. Your response becomes the turning point, the moment when everything changes for the better. Because at the end of the day, the hardest thing you'll ever have to do isn't to avoid pain or failure. It's to choose to rise above them. And when you do, you discover that your greatest victories come not from never falling, but from choosing to get back up every time. Pain and fear are two of the most powerful forces you will ever face in life. They come at you like waves, sometimes crashing suddenly, sometimes building slowly beneath the surface. They are real, undeniable experiences that shake you to your core and challenge every part of your being. But so is your strength and your purpose. These two forces exist side by side, constantly in tension, and how you navigate that tension will determine the course of your life. Pain can take many forms. It can be physical, like the kind of injury that changes everything in an instant. It can be emotional, cutting deep when relationships break, dreams are crushed, or loss settles in. Fear, too, shows up in many ways. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of not being enough. Both pain and fear can feel overwhelming. It's like they want to consume you entirely. They are not illusions or exaggerations. They are real. To deny them is to deny part of the human experience. But acknowledging the reality of pain and fear doesn't mean you have to be ruled by them. Within you lies a strength just as real and just as powerful. This strength is not about being fearless or immune to pain. It's about having the courage to face those feelings head on, to confront what scares and hurts you, and to keep moving forward anyway. Strength is found in the decision to rise despite the weight of fear and pain bearing down on you. Your purpose is the other force that anchors you. It's what gives meaning to your struggles. It's what fuels your will to keep going when everything inside tells you to stop. Purpose is like a compass in the darkest night. It guides your steps, reminding you why you endure the pain and face the fear. When your purpose is clear and strong, it becomes a source of energy that propels you beyond your limits. It connects you to something greater than yourself, a mission, a dream, a calling that can't be silenced by hardship. The battle between pain, fear, strength, and purpose is ongoing. It doesn't end once you make a decision to be strong or find your purpose. Life will continue to challenge you. But each time pain or fear threatens to overwhelm you, you get to choose where your focus goes. You can focus on the pain and fear and let them paralyze you, or you can focus on your strength and purpose and let them empower you. This choice isn't always easy, especially when the pain is fresh or the fear feels real and immediate. But the more you practice choosing strength and purpose, the more natural it becomes. There is tremendous freedom in understanding that pain and fear do not have to control you. They are part of the journey, but they are not the destination. Your strength and purpose are the forces that will carry you through the toughest moments. When you lean into them, you discover resilience you didn't know you had. You find the ability to keep going even when the path is steep and the burden heavy. This dynamic also teaches humility. Strength doesn't mean you have to pretend you're okay when you're hurting. It means being honest about your pain and fears, but refusing to be defeated by them. It means asking for help when you need it, leaning on your support system and still pushing forward. Purpose doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being committed to a journey bigger than your current circumstances. When you accept pain and fear as real, but refuse to let them have the final say, you enter a place of true power. You become someone who can inspire others because you've walked through the fire and come out stronger. Your story becomes a testament to what's possible when you hold on to your strength and your purpose, no matter what. Every person faces moments when pain threatens to break them and fear tries to hold them back. The difference lies in how they respond. You have within you a reservoir of strength waiting to be tapped and a purpose that can light your way even in the darkest times. This is not just about surviving. It's about thriving despite the challenges. Choosing to focus on strength and purpose doesn't mean you're denying your humanity. It means embracing it fully. It means recognizing that pain and fear are part of your story, but they are not the whole story. The whole story includes your courage, your faith, your determination, and your dreams. It includes the impact you can make and the legacy you can leave. When you hold on to your strength and purpose, you refuse to be defined by your hardships. You become a living example of resilience. You show what it means to be truly alive, vulnerable but unbreakable, scared but courageous, hurting but hopeful. You become a beacon for those who need to see that pain and fear are not the end, but a part of the journey towards something greater. Rest is necessary. It's the body's way of repairing itself after strain, the mind's chance to catch up after stress, and the soul's invitation to find peace amid chaos. When you are tired, worn down by the battles of life, rest becomes more than a luxury. It becomes a lifeline. But there is a crucial difference between rest and quitting. Rest is temporary, intentional, and restorative. Quitting is permanent, surrendering, and final. Understanding this difference is vital because it determines whether you keep moving forward or stop altogether. Everyone reaches a point where exhaustion feels overwhelming. The pressure builds, the challenges pile up, and the weight of expectations, both from others and yourself, feels unbearable. At those moments, the instinct might be to give up, to throw in the towel and walk away. But instead of quitting, what you need is rest. Rest allows you to regain your strength, to heal from the wounds that the fight has left behind, and to prepare for the battle still ahead. Rest is not weakness. It's a strategic pause. It's recognizing your limits without surrendering your goals. Just like an athlete who trains hard but takes days off to recover, you too must honor your need for rest. Without it, burnout is inevitable. Without it, your progress stalls. Without it, your spirit breaks down. When you rest, you come back renewed, refreshed, and ready to take on whatever comes next with a clearer mind and stronger heart. Quitting, on the other hand, is choosing to stop moving forward altogether. It's giving up on the dream, the goal, or the purpose that once ignited your fire. Quitting means letting the temporary hardship become permanent defeat. It's the moment when you decide that the pain or difficulty is too much and you refuse to try anymore. This choice closes doors that might have opened with just a little more patience and perseverance. It's important to know that resting and quitting can sometimes feel very similar. When you're in the middle of a tough season, slowing down or stepping back can feel like giving up. You might wrestle with guilt or fear that taking a break means you're weak or failing. But rest is not the enemy of progress. It's the fuel for it. Rest is what gives you the energy to keep fighting, the clarity to make better decisions, and the resilience to endure challenges without breaking. Taking time to rest also requires trust. Trust that stepping away for a moment won't derail your entire journey. Trust that your dreams are worth the wait and that your purpose is bigger than the obstacles you face. Trust that when you come back from rest, you will be stronger than before. This trust is often hard to develop because it means letting go of control, being patient with the process, and embracing uncertainty. The journey toward your goals is a marathon, not a sprint. If you push yourself relentlessly without rest, you risk running out of steam long before you reach the finish line. Rest is the recovery lap that prepares you to keep running. It helps you avoid injuries, physical, emotional, and mental, that come from overexertion. It helps you maintain balance in your life so you don't lose sight of why you're fighting in the first place. Rest also creates space for reflection. When you slow down, you have the chance to assess your progress, reconsider your strategy, and renew your vision. Sometimes rest brings new ideas, new strength, and new motivation that were impossible to see when you were caught up in constant struggle. It's in the quiet moments of rest that clarity often emerges, helping you move forward with greater purpose. While rest is crucial, it's important to recognize when rest turns into avoidance. Rest is meant to be temporary and intentional, not an escape from responsibility or fear. There's a fine line between taking a break to heal and using rest as a way to hide from the fight. Being honest with yourself about this difference is key. Rest should refresh and prepare you to get back in the game, not keep you on the sidelines forever. When you embrace rest without quitting, you develop endurance. Endurance is the ability to keep going through the ups and downs, to pace yourself for the long haul. It's a discipline that acknowledges your humanity and respects your limits while refusing to settle for less than your best. Endurance helps you weather storms without losing sight of the destination. Remember that every champion knows when to rest and when to push. It's a balance that takes wisdom and self-awareness. Rest gives you the strength to fight another day, while quitting ensures the fight is over. Choosing rest over quitting is choosing to believe in yourself and your journey even when it's hard. It's choosing hope over despair, patience over impatience, and faith over fear. When you make rest a part of your process, you honor the reality that life is a series of seasons, some demanding intense effort, others calling for recovery. Both are necessary, both serve a purpose. Rest is not giving up, it's gearing up for what's next. And when you return from rest, you come back ready to face the fight with renewed passion and determination. There's a moment in every journey where the excitement fades and the difficulty settles in. The applause dies down, the crowd moves on, and all that's left is the hard, quiet work. That's where most people stop. Not because they can't do it, because consistency is hard. The discipline of showing up every single day, doing the work even when no one's watching, requires a different kind of strength. It's not fueled by adrenaline or excitement. It's fueled by commitment. And that's the difference between people who talk about it and people who be about it. Being consistent is not about being perfect. It's not about waiting for the perfect conditions or the perfect time. It's about being faithful to the process even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. Most people want the results without the repetition. They want success without sacrifice. But the truth is, greatness is not built in moments. It's built in the grind, in the day-to-day choices that seem small but add up over time. It's waking up and putting in the work, even when you're tired, even when you're doubting, even when no one else understands what you're doing. Consistency is a decision you make long before the challenge shows up. It's a preset mindset that says, I'm going to do what I said I would do. And once you lock into that decision, you stop negotiating with yourself. You don't let feelings decide your actions. You don't let distractions pull you off course. You keep showing up because the mission matters more than the mood. That's how goals are reached, by doing it over and over and over until something shifts. And here's the thing, consistency compounds. At first, it may feel like nothing's happening. You're putting in the time, the energy, the focus, but the results aren't immediate. That's the moment where most people lose faith. They look around and wonder if it's worth it. But if you can push through that silence, if you can trust the process even when it's invisible, what you're building beneath the surface starts to grow. The work is never wasted, it's stored. And one day that breakthrough comes not because you got lucky, but because you were consistent when it was hard. There will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when everything in you wants to hit snooze, walk away, take the easy way out. That's when consistency becomes your anchor. You go back to your why. You remind yourself of the reason you started. You remember the vision you saw when no one else did. That vision doesn't come to life through emotion. It comes to life through repetition, through sweat, through sacrifice, through discipline. Consistency also teaches you about yourself. It reveals where your limits are and then shows you how to push past them. It exposes the excuses, the habits, the patterns that have held you back. And it gives you the opportunity to replace them with discipline, structure, and resilience. The more consistent you are, the more confidence you build, not from outcomes, but from integrity. You start to believe in yourself not because of what you've achieved, but because you know you're doing the work no matter what. People often ask, how do you stay motivated? The answer is you don't. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes. What keeps you going isn't motivation. It's consistency built on commitment. It's knowing that every rep, every hour, every choice is moving you closer to the goal. It's trusting that the process, though slow and painful at times, will produce something powerful if you stay in it long enough. The world rewards consistency. Not talent alone, not inspiration alone, but the quiet daily actions that no one sees. The grind that happens when the cameras are off and the lights are gone. That's what separates average from exceptional. Not a single big moment, but a series of small decisions stacked on top of each other, day after day. And the truth is, consistency builds credibility. When people see you show up over and over, they start to trust you. They know you're not just talking. You're proving it through your actions, you're living it. And eventually the results speak for themselves. Not because you shouted the loudest, but because you did the work the longest. That kind of consistency is rare. And when you develop it, you become unstoppable, not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. There comes a point in every journey when you're forced to answer one question: what are you willing to sacrifice to become who you were born to be? It's easy to want the success, the platform, the recognition. Everyone wants to win, but very few are willing to do what it takes when the lights go out, when the road gets rough, when the sacrifices start stacking up. That's where separation happens. That's where character is forged, not in comfort, but in cost. You can't hold on to who you've always been and expect to become someone new. Growth demands that something is left behind. Sometimes it's habits. Sometimes it's relationships. Sometimes it's a version of yourself that was only built for survival, not for purpose. And that's not an easy thing to do. Letting go of what's familiar, even when it's dysfunctional, can feel like tearing off a piece of who you are. But that's the price of transformation. You cannot carry old weight into a new season. Sacrifice is uncomfortable because it's real. You're giving up things that matter to you, things that made you feel safe or accepted or even important. But the truth is, you can't build your future on comfort. Every breakthrough is preceded by a moment of surrender, not a passive giving up, but an intentional decision to trade something good for something greater. That's what makes it a sacrifice. It costs you something. And that cost is often paid in silence in the dark, where nobody else sees you grinding, bleeding, believing. People want the reward without the risk. But greatness demands risk. It demands you take a leap, not knowing if the net will appear. It demands you invest in something before the return is visible. Sacrifice is putting time into your dream when it's not paying you back yet. It's staying focused when everyone else is distracted. It's choosing discipline over desire. And that's where most people walk away, when the cost is greater than their comfort. You're going to have to give up some things to grow. And those things won't always be obvious. Sometimes it's giving up the need to be liked. Sometimes it's giving up the fear of failure. Sometimes it's giving up the idea that everything has to be perfect before you begin. Sacrifice means choosing purpose over pride, choosing mission over ego, choosing your future over your feelings. You can't have it both ways. You can't cling to every excuse, every distraction, and expect to walk into the next level of your life. You've got to cut ties with what's holding you back, even when it's painful. And that pain is not punishment. It's proof that you're moving, proof that you're shifting, proof that something inside you is tired of settling. Nobody becomes extraordinary by accident. It's always intentional. It's always the result of decisions that don't make sense to other people. People may not understand why you're doing what you're doing, why you're waking up early, staying up late, missing parties, saying no to things that look fun but don't fit your calling. But they're not supposed to understand your vision was given to you for a reason. And sometimes that means walking alone for a while. What you sacrifice reveals what you value. When you're willing to let go of what's easy to pursue what's essential, that's when your life starts to shift. That's when momentum builds. Because every time you say no to comfort, you say yes to growth. Every time you walk away from convenience, you walk toward purpose. And yes, there will be days when it hurts, days when you question whether it's worth it, days when the sacrifice feels bigger than the dream. But it's in those moments that your resolve is tested. It's in those moments you either cave or you commit. And the ones who commit, the ones who choose the hard road, who sacrifice on purpose, those are the ones who become something different, something stronger, something undeniable. Because when it's all said and done, the life you build is not based on what you hoped for or talked about. It's built on what you were willing to give up to make it real. And that sacrifice, that's the foundation of everything meaningful, everything lasting. The fire you walk through to become who you were meant to be is the same fire that burns away everything that was never meant to stay.